Welcome to the Racing Nuggets podcast. I'm PJ Noodleman, joined by my co-host, Mr. Dan Plan of the Midwest Racing Connection. Hey, Dan.
Hello.
And congratulations to you on your retirement.
We'll say semi-retired. I'm still going to have to work a little bit.
All right. Congratulations on your semi-retirement. Not sure if Hallmark makes a card for that, but good for you to be able to kind of step out of the grind a little bit and kind of get a little more deeper into your passions, which are racing. And we are joined today by our guest. He is the 2022 Rookie of the Year with the Midwest Tour. Please welcome Harley Jankowski. Hey, Harley.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us here today. Wanted to chat a little bit about the Midwest Tour. I know I've watched you kind of move up through the ranks at La Crosse Speedway. I think you started in like the four-banger division there and worked your way up, or at least Thunderstocks. I know you ran Thunderstocks.
Yeah, I actually started out in the Thunderstocks. Like 2006 was my first year. And then I think the next year I was kind of doing both. Me and my buddies, got into it, and we're actually, that was back when you could only have one car could have that number. So we ended up I ended up 95 and he ended up 97, and we were both running Hornets and Thunderstocks. We're actually both still racing to this day. You probably know him. Old Chris Weber down in Dells. I think this was the last he raced. Kind of lost touch over the years, but
yeah, he is still racing.
Keep track once in a while.
Yeah. So what was it that prompted you to make the jump then to super lates into the Midwest Tour?
Well, 2015, we kind of went for a championship run at La Crosse there. I think we ended up third in points. And then kind of just got sick of racing, and we took off for a little while. And then the CWRA kind of, started popping up again. And I noticed a few of the other lower budget teams were actually doing really well in that. And I wanted to race some other tracks. So I talked to my dad. So we went and did that, and then quite a bit of success in that. But they run a different tire and stuff, and it was pretty close to what La Crosse's tire is. So, but anyway, so we decided to try the big boy stuff, I like to call it, and didn't really think we had a chance, because I tried making the Oktoberfest race for the last 5-6 years and not even close. So we went on with the goal just to, make a race, and kind of went from there.
Now, when you started with CWRA, I think you got the Rookie of the Year. Was it 2019 with CWRA too?
Yep, that was. Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if I was eligible or not, but I was, so we went for that. When I started that, we started at Marshfield, so I was like, I'd never been to any of these tracks, never even watched a race there. I've always been to La Crosse since I started. So I think we got fast time first time there. I think I ended up, I don't know. I just know I ran really good at Marshfield that year. I missed 2 races there that I didn't know counted for a championship. So I would have won championship that year at Marshfield for super late model, but I missed 2 or 3 races.
What's that like when you go to another couple of tracks like that, when you finally break out and you go to different tracks? Do you like that excitement, or how does that impact you?
Well, that's what this year was like too. Almost every track I have never even been to. So you get there, you kind of go check the track out, see how big it is. And, you talk to people, I'll message like Casey Johnson or somebody, get me a gear within the right area. But I don't know, you go to the track and you get 2 hot lap sessions and good luck. It's hard to make the race on that, especially with the guys we're racing against.
You've got a pretty stout team though behind you, backing with you and helping you out.
Kinda. Behind the scenes, yes. For the most part, it's just me working on the car and stuff, and my dad financially helping me when I need a hand, or if I can't reach a bolt or something, if I need to be on the outside and the inside of the car at the same time. Yeah, we had a few people step up this year and help me a lot, which was really nice, which I'm not used to. Used to being a one-man show, but like Rob Christian was helping me a lot this year. Corey, every chance he could get, he was helping me, and I would go help him, vice versa, kind of family race in there.
What's that like when people come out to help you? Talk a little bit more about that. Do you have a hard time accepting that help since you have kind of been a one-man show, or how does that work for you?
It's kind of hard because you're used to doing everything yourself. So you kind of got like kind of, I don't know what you call it. You do things a certain way in a certain order, but then I kind of got used to it towards the end of the year. You just tell them what you want them to do and have them do it. Sometimes you can't fully trust the people to do what they're doing, so you kind of got to double check the stuff because you got a $100,000 car. You don't want to wad it up because somebody forgot to do one thing, something, which I don't know.
What's I was going to ask you that letting go of kind of the control is something that you have actually had to experience even in your personal life. You have had some health challenges. I know you've had a kidney transplant, and that is honestly really the ultimate of letting go of control. When you need to go in for a surgery like that and you're hoping and praying that everything works out. To talk a little bit about what that piece of your life has been like when you have to let go of that control and get on that journey.
Well, I kind of been dealing with that my whole life, so I don't know. I'm just kind of, it is what it is, I guess. Well, I had a kidney transplant in 2011. Then I couldn't drive for a little while, and before that, it was pretty rough, learning the symptoms of what was going on, and talking to the doctors, and getting, they didn't want me racing, which they kind of still don't, but it's ultimately my decision. But I don't know. It has its ups and its downs. I recently, about a year ago now, I started dialysis again, which is because my kidney that I had transplanted, their life is about 8 to 10 years, they tell you, in a transplant, which mine lasted about 10 years. So knew it was kind of coming, it ain't just like a all of a sudden thing. So which that started at the beginning of the year, last year, there's a lot of stuff that it was a rough year, really rough year around here. My dad ended up in a snowmobile accident in like February, broke like 4 or 5 ribs and stuff and couldn't work. We're dealing with that. And then, which I actually helped my dad at the shop and work full time at my own job and then go to dialysis, and work on the race car. So, and then he got healed up from that. And then my uncle Brett, he got sick. And then they ended up diagnosing him with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, which he just passed away in October. So it's been a rough year. He was always at the track helping us too, but not this year, so it was kind of rough. I was hoping he'd make it to one race, but he wasn't up to it. So.
I'm so sorry.
Yep. Thank you.
What are some of the biggest concerns doctors have about you racing with this challenge with your kidney?
The main concern is if I want another kidney transplant, which I do. When they transplant the kidney, they actually use the vein and arteries in your leg, like down by your crotch area. And they're concerned if I get in a wreck, I might like rupture, I don't know, damage them down there, I guess. It's kind of the main concern. Other than that, they haven't really said like, well, I know especially in the super late models, they're super safe, but there's always that chance that something might happen, so they're very concerned with that.
Yeah. that kind of creates a different lens through which you look at how you're approaching your season, I'm sure. I mean, you've always got that tick-tocking in the back of your head. So how do you plan for the next year, knowing what you know about your kidney versus your desire to race? How do you balance that?
I don't really think about it. I just do one day at a time. You know, I most of the time I don't feel the greatest. So that's a struggle there too. So I just kind of depends on how I feel. So like I got the car all tore down right now. Gonna put a new body and doing some updated stuff on it. So some days you get a bunch done, and some days I'll get 2 bolts in it. That's about it.
Well, I know you had the opportunity to go down to Daytona as Rookie of the Year. And if I understood correctly, there were some touch and go situations with your health that almost prevented you from going. Is that right?
Yeah, we had all the flights booked and hotels booked, and, getting ready to leave, get all my physical done and all my stuff to NASCAR. And, we're leaving next week, and NASCAR calls me and they want a letter from my doctor, my nephrologist, which is my kidney doctor specifically. And I'm like, okay, I got a week, should be plenty of time. Well, doctor was on vacation until 2 days before I leave. And then they didn't want to sign it. And it was back and forth on the phone. And so when I got the treatment the day before I left, they got me the letter, which was, I did not sleep until that point.
I bet that was stressful.
Like I still could have went, but I wouldn't have been able to drive a car or anything. So it would have been pretty disappointing.
Well, yeah, that was the whole point of going down there.
Yeah.
This was your first time ever being on an airplane too, if I understood correctly.
Yeah, that was my first time going on a flight. And it was definitely interesting experience. I got a window seat every time, which was nice. We had one layover in Charlotte before we went down to Daytona. Which we landed in Charlotte and we had 10 minutes to get to our next flight. And we're walking, and I look up at the sign and get to our thing. It said it takes 20 minutes to walk there. And we're pretty much running to get there, which is a struggle for me too. Yeah, we made it.
And you said that can be a struggle for you as well too. So that's
yeah. I had a hip replacement about 5 years ago now. Which I was, they couldn't get me in for physical therapy until after I went back to work, and I couldn't really get off of work to do it. So I walk funny now. Got kind of a limp kind of thing going on, which is annoying, but
I'm sure that you are kind of a textbook case. A lot of people don't realize, I don't want to necessarily use the term, disabled or handicapped, but you definitely have some challenges that are not necessarily visible. So people don't, it's just another sign for people to give a little more grace to others, because you don't know what somebody is going through unless you've literally walked in their life.
Yeah, so technically I am disabled. I could get a sticker and everything for my car, but I never did.
You are a hardcore racer.
I am.
So tell us a little bit more about Daytona and how that went when you got down there.
Well, the day we landed, we got there on Thursday. It was 77 degrees and sunny. So our hotel was about, I don't know, a mile-ish away. So we decided to walk there. So we walked outside, and there's no taxis or nothing. So we walked. And we get to the hotel and find out they had a free shuttle. Whoops. So, we ended up going back on the shuttle and getting a rental car. Nice little Toyota Corolla. We're beating the crap out of that thing all weekend.
Racers do that all the time, don't they, when they get a rental car?
Oh, yeah. We made sure we got the insurance in case we had to take that one out on the track instead. But, yeah. So we went we kind of just went and checked the area out, went and checked the beach out, and because I've never been to the ocean or nothing. A lot of people ask me if I put my feet in the water, and I said, heck no, there's sharks in there. But no, we mess with the seagulls and stuff. But there's a lot of hurricane damage down there. It was kind of glad we didn't get a hotel right on the beach, because we wouldn't have been able to get down to it. So I hope they can get all that fixed up, But then the next day is Friday. Wake up, it was raining. Go to the track, they're drying the track and stuff, and it was about high of 50 degrees. It was a little chilly. Not for up here though. Went to the driver's meeting, met Frankie Muniz.
Malcolm in the middle. Yeah,
Yep.
he's racing. That's crazy.
Yep.
What was he like?
He's kind of quiet like me. He's kind of short. You don't realize how short people are, especially a lot of the racers are really short. I'm like 5'10", so I'm not that tall to begin with.
When you went to Daytona, did you go through the tunnel in turn 1 or the old tunnel in turn 4?
We had to drive through turn 1. So my dad and Corey, so we went and got our credentials and stuff, and we're coming back because that's like a mile away from the track for some reason. Get back to the track, and there's like, well, you gotta go, I don't know, it was like on the straightaway kind of by 3 and 4 over there. I was like, I don't think so. And we're driving around trying to find it. That was the adventure itself, but it was over in turn 1.
Okay. It is neat driving through that tunnel and you get inside and you see how big that place is when you get inside.
Yeah, looking at it, I was like, wow, it's steep corners, but looking at it still does no justice when you're driving on it. So after the driver's meeting, they took all the newer people out on the track in a minivan. That was probably the most fun part. They pile 5 of us in this minivan. This old guy in the front's turning around talking to us, no seatbelts, nothing. And he just hammers down. We get to turn 1, we're doing 100 miles an hour in this minivan, and everybody like falls to the bottom of the van. It was pretty funny. And he's just talking away, telling us, when you go out there, when you get going, you gotta stay on the flat part, and you gotta hold it wide open and shift while you're going. And it's actually a pretty easy track to drive because you just steer, hold her wide open and steer.
Wow.
Yes.
So tell us what it was like then when you got to drive it, though. I mean, were the G-forces greater than you ever anticipated?
You really don't notice the G-forces other than, when you're getting strapped in, you get your seatbelts as tight as you can, and you go on the corner, you can kind of feel them wobbling around a little bit. It was pretty nerve-wracking at first. They want you right up next to the wall, like first thing. And it took me a little bit to trust the car, because I'm not used to running something wide open like that. But so once we did that, I must have did pretty good because I got the draft after that. We weren't really supposed to be drafting, but so
what did that feel like? Talk about the draft. I want to hear more about the draft.
It's pretty much like driving down the interstate and you open your back window out and it's like the noise. And then if you're like right behind a semi and you're like dancing around a little bit, that's the draft.
Wow.
It's kind of weird how fast you'll catch up to somebody, and I don't know, stuff happens fast. We almost wrecked because some guy I think he got grounded after that because we were drafting and we're coming up on him. He's supposed to stay high, and then he just dropped down right in front of us, and we, had to kind of scatter to get around him. We had to pull in right after that. I think he got grounded. I ran out of gas too once when we were out there.
Really? Oh my goodness. What was that like?
Well, they had me in the front of the pack. There's like a 3 or 4 car draft we were going. Just running the bottom going, and I like looked down and there's this yellow light on. I didn't know what it was. And then they're like, okay, I want you to move up and turn 3 and 4. So I go high and then drop back down. And it had been my fast lap, but then all of a sudden the motor just started missing and it's like, I think I'm out of gas. So I'm coming down the front stretch and they're like, well, just pop it out of gear and coast all the way in, don't hit the brakes. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make it. No, I did. Coasted all the way around and back in the pits.
Wow. Did you have a spotter then, or was it just one person kind of
there's-
playing air traffic controller for all of you?
I'm not sure. I had a spotter. It was kind of hard to hear them because they were inside because it was cold out. They were hiding inside. So I couldn't really hear them down the back stretch, but the front stretch I could hear them.
Wow. What a cool experience for you. And it sounds like you did it you went through it with flying colors, they must have liked what they were seeing if you didn't get grounded.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I got certified, but I don't know, whatever that means.
It means you could run Daytona if you ever had the opportunity.
Yeah, I got back to work on Monday and I was talking to the boss, he's like, how'd it go? Because they did a little video thing on me too. It's on Facebook. I think they were more excited about me going down there than I was, which was kind of neat. But I got back and he, asked how it went. And I was like, well, you got about $60,000 to $80,000. He kind of looked at me. I was like, so I can run Daytona in a month? He laughed. He didn't say no, so there might be a chance.
I love it. I love it. I am so excited that you had that opportunity. So who all went down there with you? Who was your posse, your entourage?
It was me, my dad, Kurt, and then Corey, my uncle.
Corey Jankowski, another racer.
Yeah.
I bet he was
Another
pretty
racer.
proud of you.
Oh, yeah, he was having a good time too.
Did he bring the cape with?
No, he did not.
No.
He thought about it. He said the only reason why he was going was for backup in case I needed a relief driver.
How thoughtful of him.
Yep. So when we booked the hotel, we only got one room. It was 2 beds. So me and Corey ended up sharing a bed. And the one night I wake up and all of a sudden his arm is on me. And I was like, get off of me. What? He was sound asleep. He didn't do it on purpose or nothing, but I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny. You'll have to
Woke
tell
my
him.
dad up when I was yelling.
No spooning in this bed, Corey.
No.
So you have
Put a
had
pillow between us.
that was probably wise. That was
Yeah.
probably wise. You have had a really amazing year. Obviously, a lot of ups and downs throughout it, but this whole past year is really quite a story for you.
Yeah, it was. We started off the year at the Dells. I think what do they call that one, the icebreaker or something like that for Live for 5. We didn't make the race on time, so we're in the last chance race, and I think we were running like 6th or 7th, and I kind of backed her down. I was gonna save the car, save the tires, for the next race, and then like I look in the mirror and oh, here comes Corey. Like, oh, I can't let Corey beat me, So I get going again to catch the top 6, but then they ended up crashing. So I ended up starting, I think I was like 3rd or something, but I took the outside on the restart. So I ended up on the pole and ended up winning the last chance race. So I made the race. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know you got a trophy for that B feature. They were a little upset at me because I never pulled in the victory lane or nothing. I just went in the pits. So, oh well.
You'll know for next time.
Yep. No, for next time. Well, hopefully I don't have to do any more of them.
Well, that's true too.
Then I think that was for Live for 5. And I think the next race was Slinger for the ARCA Midwest Tour. I raced there one time before. I tried to do the Slinger Nationals, but we had a heart failure and ended up crashing out in practice. So we never really got to qualify or anything. But it was raining that day and they got track ride. But at the bottom where the flat, it was wet. So in my first lap, or might have been my second, I don't know, came in just a little too low and got in the water and spun out. So then I had to start in the back in all them races. Ended up missing the transfer by like 1 or 2 spots. so we didn't make that race. And I don't remember which race was next. Might have been Madison. Yeah, it was Madison. Really cold there. That was a cold day. Went to go out qualifying. They said everybody made the race because there wasn't enough cars to send anyone home. That was my first time there too, and that was a little scary because the track was so cold, and to get heat in your tires, that thing was all over the place, and I'm just trying not to wreck this thing. And then the race, we're doing pretty good. We're just staying on the lead lap. It was halfway through. We're still on the lead lap, and the halfway pit and stuff, fuel up, and I'll get back out there, getting ready to come to green, and my uncle comes on the radio. Somebody forgot to put fuel cap on, so I had to pull in. Ended up a couple laps down because of that, but it was pretty good experience because I got that car from the Holzhausens. They always did really good there. So the last race there, I think I was going to get my first top 10. I think I was running really good, but then the motor let go. That was, I think it dropped a valve or something. I don't know, but everything stayed in the motor, so there wasn't oil all over the track. Nobody wrecked nothing, so that was good. That was a rough race that day because I had to go to dialysis before because it was on a Friday, and I do treatments Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I had to get up early, go to treatment, and then go down there. So that was a rough day. But
what is that like, getting into a car after you've just had a treatment? I mean, that's, to me, is mind-boggling.
The best way to put it is like a pretty bad hangover, just kind of like a headache. And if I'm not 100%, I will not get in the car. If I'm not, I made that mistake one time. That cost me a stub. That was at lacrosse one time. So yeah, I don't do that anymore. But fortunately, I was feeling well enough to get in the car, and we actually did decent that night till it blew up, of course.
Right.
What else happened this year? We were at Grundy. That was a pretty decent track. I liked that place. It was hot. My gauges quit working, the temp gauges. First, it was the water temp gauge quit working, so I was worried I was overheating. When I looked at the oil temp was okay, but then all of a sudden that one pegged. And when I saw that, the transmission went, and I don't know, it was just like a big vibration and stuff. And I pulled in, I thought the motor blew up. I didn't know it was a tranny at first. Until we took temp gun, we were checking the motor temp and everything looked fine. So the gauges took a crap. It ended up being the transmission. I think other than that, we've finished every race this year.
Well, obviously it was enough for you to get Rookie of the Year. But even beyond that, that's just crazy that you've had kind of brand new time at all these tracks. You've had some real curveballs thrown at you throughout it, and you still persevered. I think that's a big testament to you, both as a racer and as a person.
Yeah, I just always try to finish the race, no matter how the car's handling, never give up, I just think of how many people what they would do to be in the seat that I'm in, it's all my friends, they're in the lower divisions and stuff, and they would love to drive that car, and they kind of look up to me, I feel. So I just kind of try to do my best.
Which track was your favorite of all these new ones that you got to go experience?
Of the new ones? Oh, that's hard to pick. I don't know. Grundy was pretty fun. I think Jefferson actually was my favorite new one. That one.
That's a challenging track.
Yeah, because it's got that two full racing grooves, and they're two totally different, and you can race each one and do good. And it was
what I've liked about Jefferson is I grew up with Raceway Park here in Shakopee, and that was a kind of a low banked quarter-mile track. And then I'd been to Rockford a few times where it's, the top side of the track is faster. And Jefferson reminded me like a combination of Raceway Park and Rockford, because one corner is totally flat and then the other corner is banked and the top side's faster. So it does really put on some good racing there.
Yeah, I remember Jefferson. We changed some stuff in the car, and we ended up having a tire rub that we didn't catch right away until the tire blew out. When that blew out, it ripped the shock off and the brake line and stuff. And thankfully, Toby and Justin Monday got me some parts so I could actually start the race. So we were like thrashing, trying to get the car back together before qualifying. We got out there in time. That was another experience in itself.
Well, you're certainly learning how to overcome adversity in your life, personally and professionally with the racing. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think Oktoberfest looks pretty fun. I would have liked to run all 4 days, but since our motor blew up, we only had one car, which I'm down to one now. I sold my other one, but so we didn't, want to risk anything happening, so this year we'll be at all 4 days. But so we didn't get there till Saturday. Got Steve Holzhausen to come down. He's a character. He likes me because I'm not afraid to, he wants to try something on the car, even if the car's doing good. Let's try it. You got nothing to lose, really. We found some stuff, I think. So I think this year we're having trouble center of the corner getting the car to turn, and I think we found that. We're trying to do it a few different ways, and it just wouldn't work. It would work for like a short haul kind of type deal, but I think it was like lap 160 something. I was one of the top 3 cars on the track at Oktoberfest. I didn't realize that until my spotter said something. We're running in the back kind of, we ended up, getting a lap down right away and got the lucky dog. But then when you get the lucky dog, you gotta go all the way to the back again. And I think I had to run down Nick Paninsky to get the lucky dog the second time. And then we got back on the lead lap, and it was like halfway. Something happened during the pit stop, which nobody told me until the car broke. They snapped the stud off, changing the tire, but they never said nothing. So
Oh my.
It was like lap 180 something. That was the last caution. Just all of a sudden, car just wobbling. I didn't know what was going on. And I said something broke out on the radio, and Steve's like, "Yeah, we know. We'll let you know when you get in here." I'm like, "Oh, great."
Oh wow. That was nice.
Yeah. I got pretty low temperament, so I would have been able to handle it if they would have told me. But oh well. I still had a lot of fun.
You do seem to just kind of roll with the flow. Again, I think there's a lot of people who probably don't realize how many challenges that you have had thrown in your way. And you're very resilient, Harley. I think that's the word I'm looking for. You're very resilient.
Well, I used to get pretty riled up about stuff, but you come to learn with my old age, I got the miles, not the years, that really doesn't help anything when you just kind of go off the handle and stuff. So it is what it is.
That is some true words right there. That's for sure. So what do you think your plan will be then for this next race season? Are you planning Midwest Tour full time?
I would like to, but we're, it's tax time and going through the books and stuff. And my aunt's been doing my dad's books and stuff, and we got grounded on how much we spent on racing last year. So it's probably not a full season. We're kind of gonna probably start with the first couple, do the Dells, Icebreaker, Slinger, Madison, and kind of go from there.
I hope you have Elko on your schedule.
I think it is.
Okay.
Dan is so excited that Midwest Tour is finally returning to Elko.
I've never been there. I wanted to go to Cedar Rapids, but they rained out, so I kind of want to get down there, and probably Elko because I've never been there. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do. Yeah.
Say that again, Dan.
I'll save a spot for you when you come up here.
Yeah, in the stands or in the pits?
Anywhere you want.
Oh, well, hopefully in the pits.
Dan has connections
Yeah.
at
Okay.
Elko. Well, heck, Dan's got connections everywhere. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
He's my hookup for a lot of things. Well, Harley, I wish you all the best. And again, you are a walking case to really show people that there's so many layers to people, and people just don't really know all of that. And this was kind of part of the reason why I wanted to start this podcast, was to kind of get everybody introduced to racers and see that there's more sides to every person. And you are definitely very layered. And I appreciate everything that you're going through. I wish you all the best with your health journey. And I hope that you are able to put enough funds together to run the whole Midwest tour this year. I'd love to see you do that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm still working on it. I have a hard time asking people for help. That's probably my biggest downfall. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I will put a link to your social media channels in the show notes. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, they sure can.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, we're doing a bunch of updating on the car. I was having some brake issues this year, so putting all new brakes on the car. We're gonna try a new body, try that new one, but I guess a lot of people are getting away from that one. I don't know. I just think it looks cool. So we got one of them we're gonna be putting on there and putting all new interior tin and stuff and get her a little fancier. We'll see if my dad says he wants to try to win one this year, but I don't know. I told him that's kind of setting her pretty high. I said maybe try getting a top 10 finish first and go from there.
I think that's doable. I really do.
Yeah, we came close a couple of times, but it would help if I had more time at them tracks. Like I said, you only get 2 hot lap sessions and you get thrown to the wolves.
Sometimes that's not a bad thing, though, because you can really overthink and dial yourself out when you have too much practice.
Yeah, so we didn't really make a lot of changes to the car this year. For the most part, we just changed panel bar and stuff. That's about it. So maybe that's kind of how I've always done. Like I see some people, changing springs and all kinds of stuff. And you got to do this setup and that setup. And I don't know. I've always ran all the same. Like when I was running TWRA with my other car, I, take a turn off the bar here or whatever. And actually, I don't know. Trying to help people out, trying to make it more simple for them, especially, there's a lot of 1-person teams out there. And they're, trying to help them out with the stuff I've learned, doing it myself for however many years. But I don't know. Try to keep everything simple in a complicated sport.
Ain't that the truth? It really can be. Dan, do you have any other final questions? I don't want to feel like I've been monopolizing again.
Nope, I got everything in that I wanted to talk about.
All right. Well, Harley, good luck to you in 2023. You are somewhat of an underdog, but I really love the resilience that you've shown personally and professionally. And I'm so excited that you got to experience so many really cool things for the first time this year, particularly that trip to Daytona. Congrats to you on Rookie of the Year for the Midwest Tour, and good luck this year.
Yeah, thank you. That was definitely an experience of a lifetime that I will never forget. So hopefully I can work on that, whatever you want to call that. Oh, I'm bad with talking. I told you that, but that opportunity. Hopefully I can capitalize on, maybe find a ride or something, a start and park deal later this year, since I am certified at Milwaukee or Iowa or something, or even I think they're going to Elko, the ARCA series.
Yep, they'll be here in June.
Yeah. So I was thinking about, I'm going to try to make some phone calls, maybe get something to happen, but you never know. Answers always no if you don't ask.
Yep.
Exactly. That is some good advice right there. Well, good luck to you, Harley. Thank you again for being a guest with us.
Yeah, thank you.